Hey guys, Dana Giacovello here with Bullies Keep Out. Today I am here with the lovely Sean Maguire, who also happens to be one of our advocates here at BKO. Sean, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your hectic and busy schedule to be here with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Glad we finally got to do this. Um, so, it's no secret how passionate you are about the cause of bullying and hate. You regularly speak out about it, which I think we need much more of. What motivates you to continue the fight and support this cause?
Well, a number of things. I mean, one, I sort of experienced bullying firsthand when I was a kid. I was on a TV show when I was about 9, 10, that's when I joined secondary school, what you call kind of high school, and that made for a difficult sort of school process. But I don't do this to inspire sympathy because I have this sort of precocious defensive mechanism that I was scrappy. I had 5 brothers and sisters. Fighting wasn't an alien concept to me. And when I left primary school, that was just, not to make myself sound like a degenerate, but
Mm-hmm.
there was lots of, rolling around on the grass and fighting with brothers. So when I moved to high school and I got bullied for being on this TV show, I kind of um, sort of stood up for myself because I've just always had that kind of precocious kind of defense mechanism. But I also, there were times when it was really, really tough and it really hurt and it was hard. And I also saw other people getting bullied. And I have to say that hurts me more for some reason. Because I think with me, I can always deal with me. But when I feel that somebody's defenseless
Mm-hmm.
and people are teaming up on them, it just sort of provokes something in me that I hate it more than almost anything I can think of. I just bully, whether it's anything at school, the workplace, for race reasons, sex, gender reasons, whatever it is, it's all just bullying, and it's pretty deplorable. And now I think only really in the last few years we see what it's actually doing, how it's working on social media and stuff. Kids are hanging themselves and doing just,
Mm-hmm.
as a parent, the idea of losing a child, not because of a tragedy of a car accident or a disease, but by something that could have been prevented, makes me feel the need to speak up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I'm sure anybody would agree with that stance because it's so much in abundance, especially with the youth, and like you said, anywhere, because it does happen online, offline, schools, workplace, adults, teenagers, and it really is sad, and it's a shame that it's getting even worse in some instances. In some instances it's getting better, but you do have a lot of unfortunate instances that we keep hearing about continually, such as the Facebook Live suicides that are just so heartbreaking when there's so much that can be done about it. So
Well, exactly. This is one of those problems that is not beyond our reach. This isn't, I mean, even things like climate change, which we can change, which we
hmm
can help. This is something we literally have in our power every day. If if you're at school, if you're at work, if you see somebody being bullied, bullies are generally people that are upset themselves or almost cowards themselves, and they're doing what they do because it takes the attention off them. And when people united, stand united and sort of go, hey, no, that's not happening here. They quickly scurry away most of the time.
yeah.
Um, and if they don't learn the error of their ways, um, then they become a lot worse as adults, I think. So, I think it's something that we have to address and attack immediately on all levels.
No, we absolutely do. I agree. Now, I know there are many instances where actors get attacked for no reason, and we've had some issues, and I've seen them myself. I've known you've also been very vocal about that, and others, and friends or other fellow actors. Do you ever feel that you should not have responded or regretted a response, or do you feel that we need to be
Oh
more
gosh,
honest about
yeah,
these
all of the above.
responses?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have responded. Sometimes I feel like, and I should have. Because I don't know. Nobody knows. We're all just wandering around this earth trying to figure out what's the right thing to do. 90%, 95% of our day.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do feel is I don't want this sort of develop this thing even when I was a kid at school where if if you want to say whatever you want to say about me, I'm absolutely fine. I can sleep at night. It's when that extends into, maybe a death threat or something, and even that. I mean, I'm not making light of it, but I don't think somebody's really going to kill me
Yeah.
because I'm playing Robin Hood. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be realistic about a death threat in quotation. But what I do when it extends into saying things about my wife or my child, then I kind of go, well, that's not strictly within the rules. Do you know what I mean? Because
Right.
they're public figures and they don't ask to be, and they support me, and that's it. And that's where you see somebody who's just sort of just keeping themselves busy online by being horrible or mean, and they're not getting the response they want, so they go, right, let me hit you harder. And that's not like, just so you know, there is a line, and that's where I'm going to say, look, you're going to be reported. And it's so idiotic to think that you can do this bullying online, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, and think that it's not going to come back to you. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
These people who are 14, 15, 16, who are, just being abhorrent to their fellow students or their fellow workers, it's going to come back to you. Even if you don't learn the lessons morally,
Mm-hmm.
you go get that job and they'll go, what's this on your application? You see here you've been accused of this, that, and the other. It can really damage your life being the bully, not just being bullied. So I hope the people that are, sometimes causing this pain realise that this is not good for them either, just from a selfish point of view.
That's a very good viewpoint to take a look at it because I don't think they realize that. I think it's all fun and games sometimes, and they think, oh, it's no big deal. No one's going to find out who I am. Nobody's going to know
Mm.
anything. And that's far from the truth because you could easily find out who people are. And it's just,
Absolutely, and you know what? Well, as you just said, people with their buddies, they get together and they pick on one person who, for whatever reason, they deemed not cool, not likable, and you make that person's life hell, and you think, ha ha ha, we've got away with it. These things now, there are IP addresses. Schools are more involved. Organisations like you're making people more aware of what's going on, and these things are being looked up now. So I would say to those people that are doing the bullying, be careful. Your days are numbered. It's going to come back to you, and when it does, then it's not going to seem so fine.
Yes, and I definitely agree that there's always a line to be drawn, and you have to. At some point, you have to draw a line, and everybody has their, and most of the time, it is like you said, it's the families and or colleagues where they feel like, okay, well now you're not attacking me, where I could just be like, okay, it's me, it's other people that I care and love about. So that's obviously always understandable. Now jumping to a little different aspect of a different form of all of it relates to bullying in some way or some form of hate and non-acceptance. I know that you joined the Women March with your family, and we love seeing so many of our supporters and advocates around the world joining them, and it was an amazing experience. And but there was so many that felt that it was all about women or women hating men because they are not understanding what's actually going on in some ways. How is the experience for you when you coming from a male perspective that fully supported the movement?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. There was a sort of a bit of a naming issue with it because
Mhm.
if we're honest, I think a lot of people felt that they were very much on an anti-Trump march, if I'm
Right.
honest.
Mhm.
Now, that's not a very positive way to frame something that was such a positive experience. So I think speaking and framing it from the point of view that it was for equality for women, because as we've seen over this last election, there is not an equality for women, whether it's being matched in pay, or whether it's rights, or whether it's the rising numbers of sexual assaults on campuses, across the country. There are so many things that you can point to. Because I got a lot of grief because I wrote, I'm on the Women's March, very proud. And
Mhm.
so many people wrote, what are you talking about? Women have got rights. What are you talking
I
about? And I
know.
was
I
like,
saw that.
I've only got 140 characters to explain this, and I'm just trying to keep it to the point. But
Right.
yes, I think a lot of people were doing it as a protest to a man like Donald Trump being elected.
Mhm.
I think some people were doing it because they wanted to, march in a sort of feminist sense and fight for these things that are unequal that women are facing today.
Right.
There were a lot of reasons why people were on that march, but I'll
Mhm.
say one thing. It was incredibly peaceful, the one in London. There was no trouble whatsoever. It was incredibly empowering, even as a man, to kind
Mhm.
of be with so many people that sort of said, you know what, you won the election. We're not going to say that, it's unfair, but if you think you're going to take away, Planned Parenthood, and you're going to take away women's rights, and you're going to take away rights from people of different colours or religion, then we all, men or women, white or black or brown or whatever colour you are, we're going to stand up with them. We are. I think I'm very proud of the fact we're not being an apathetic generation. We are taking to the streets and we are walking and marching, and it's genuinely making a difference. It's some people are not being elected to the cabinet because the weight of public opinion saying this is not a person suitable for the job is having a difference. So I was so proud to be part of it, and proud to be with my wife, my mother, and my son, and showing that this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience for all. And, I had some of the same problems, even personally in my life. It's like, okay, I don't have on Facebook time to like explain politics or anything, but like you could go look up the information here. You could go look up the links here. There were, like you said, exactly on point. It was marching for so many reasons. It wasn't one solid reason that people were marching. And I think that's what the confusion was because of like maybe the naming issue, like you mentioned. But it was just so hard to explain because people were just so lost, and instead of listening, they
But you
were
know what?
being
It's hard
negative.
to explain to somebody who was maybe against it, maybe the Piers Morgans of the world, or
Hmm.
the Donald Trumps of the world that opposed it. Maybe, but there was no confusion about for anybody who was on those marches, and also, just because we couldn't get the name right, didn't stop people on 7 continents in their millions
Oh, I know.
taking to their town squares and sort of saying we're trying to peace and say that these things we won't let them happen without a fight.
Yeah, of course. And that was the thing. It was more the people that I think were more against it that had the issue of not understanding it. And, that's where the problem lied. Now, as far as being in that world, being an actor, and I've seen this in abundance recently too, that so many people feel celebrities have no right to interject when it comes to politics. Don't talk, don't say anything, just you're there for pure entertainment. I know you've seen it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, I feel
Well, I would
everybody's a
simply
human
say
being.
for somebody who says, "Listen, I enjoy your movies or I enjoy your TV shows or your records or whatever it is, but I don't want to hear your opinion," I'd say, "Okay, what do you do for a living, sir? You're a plumber. Okay, come over. I want you to fix my plumbing. But I don't want you to speak. I don't want to hear your voice."
Hmm.
You'd say, "How dare you? How dare you infringe on my civil liberties, on my First Amendment rights?" And I wouldn't dream of telling a plumber that his right, his opinion is not valid. I just think what it is sometimes to the public actors or celebrities become part of their living room, and
Hmm.
you think of them as your possession because you watch them once a week and you have some ownership over them. You have no ownership. They're just rented for that
Exactly.
hour a week,
Exactly.
and that person is constitutionally protected to say whatever they feel. Now, hopefully, it's something positive and not, horrible, but everyone has the right to say what they want. That's the law, you
Hmm.
know?
Right.
Just the way, just as much as it is the law to the right to bear arms, which I don't particularly love, but it's the law. It's not for me to disagree with until the Supreme Court changes it. So when people say actors shouldn't speak, I'm just like, maybe you shouldn't have said that sentence because you're making yourself look pretty stupid.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times, and I've defended it, and I just the sense is that okay, but we have a person that was elected that was technically a reality celebrity star that people put into office, but yet in another sentence you're saying, well, they're privileged and they shouldn't be able to speak, and well, they're human beings, and as a human being, we have that human
And also,
right.
lots of actors come from a very unprivileged background. A lot of people have, come from all sorts of
Hmm.
extreme situations that informed their empathy, that informed their life experience, that made them great actors. So then to deny them their voice, just seems counterintuitive to, a diplomatic or a democratic world.
Yeah, especially yeah, and you see, I seen many, of course now everybody speaks in memes these days sometimes, and you just see, people are being. I just saw someone actually speaking out about it, which it made a lot of sense, and it was actually beautifully stated about stop being so aggressive about speaking out, and don't talk about politics, and don't say this and don't say that, and just accept it. And my way it is that if somebody's being aggressive but they're being honest but they're being kind and respectful at the same time, then that's how change is created through us speaking out. If we don't say anything, then we're just showing that we don't care. So I don't really get when
Well,
people are saying you're too
the thing
aggressive.
is, it's not just permissible. I think it was some clever writer, who said that it's not just permissible to ask, it's our duty. It's incumbent upon us to check our government. We employ the government, and
Hmm.
therefore we have the right to sort of say, hey, what are you going to do about this? Or how do you want to deal with this? Because we elected you, and we want to know how you want to deal with it. It's not for us to sort of sit back and go, oh, sorry, you're the government. We'll just do whatever you say we do. That's a dictatorship. This is, fact, we're built on the idea that everybody has a voice.
Absolutely. Now, in speaking about LGBTQ, which we mentioned earlier, obviously, that's a big part of what we do at Boys Keep Out, in equality and human rights, and we advocate for that, and you support it wholeheartedly. Why do you think people are so close minded to people just wanting to be accepted for who they are and who they love?
It's always the same things. Fear, really. Fear of what you don't understand, fear of how it will affect your little life or your religion, or, I mean, if you just look at the history of the world, I mean, when my dad moved to England, I mean, this is just moving from Ireland to London in the 60s, there were signs that said no blacks, no actors, no dogs, no Irish.
Wow.
These were signs that were where rented accommodation could be found. And that was London, a first world country not so long ago. And you look at where we've come, things have changed hugely. But those things they're always born out of somebody else's fear.
Hmm.
I don't understand a black person, therefore I don't want to be living beside them because they're different, and it might, people just fear change, and that's why ignorance is what leads to sort of the stupidity that then leads to the violence, because people are scared and they're frightened and they lash out. And that's why we've seen a rise in sort of race crimes, because we have a government that's sort of not saying. I mean, Trump's come out and said racism is terrible and anti-Semitism is terrible, but it feels a little bit like there's been a permission slip granted for those who are racist to go back to being racist again, and that's the most shocking and disappointing thing about the aftermath of this election, I think. So to your point, though, yeah, it's just fear and ignorance, and that's, I think, where it all comes from.
Yeah, it's just, you would just think, it baffles me because we've come so far in modernized society, and there's so many things that are being legalized and that are changing and that we're watching on television for acceptance, and you still can't. I mean, even the Pope has spoken out on the issue, and you
I
still
know.
have people that are
I'm very proud of him.
so, I don't know, they're just so like stuck in their ways, and
But look, I mean, civil rights was in the 50s, and we're still dealing with issues today. It takes a long time
mhm,
for a systemic change like this to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but at least the law is in place now that for those who are stupid and don't know, you're not allowed to persecute someone because of their sexual orientation or their colour or their background. At least the law. Whereas in the 50s, that we didn't have that. So we are making progress. It's not fast enough, I think a lot of people would say, but
right,
at least we are going in the right direction, and it's important to try and keep a hopeful, optimistic disposition, because if we all get negative about everything that's going on, we're not going to be able to motivate and move forward. So I try to be hopeful in this, but yeah, there's been a lot of change, but it needs to really kind of set into all parts of society now, because there's a lot of corners of America where the law's the law, but people are still persecuted for a number of different reasons.
yeah, well, our work is never done, and it's definitely an ongoing thing. And I was just talking to, another one of our advocates yesterday, just having a, just a general conversation, and he was, one of the things that he says a lot and he comments on a lot is that it's really all about love and coming together and unity. And he, if we had more of that and hope, like you've mentioned, and people being hopeful and really striving to make things better rather than being so divided, because everything's so divided right now that we would actually probably be getting further, but things just seem incredibly divided at the moment of people having to
Yeah,
feel they taking
they
sides.
do. They do think that. But I said to a friend of mine a couple of months ago, oh God, I can't think of a time when, And now it's been in the worst state. And he was like, "Are you kidding?" He's a bit older than me. And he was like, "You weren't around for Watergate. That was pretty serious." And I wasn't around for the Civil War, but that was even more serious. So yes, we are going through a tumultuous time, but that doesn't mean that it is the end of the world. You know, I know we all make jokes with him
Right.
in charge. It might be the end of the world, but the thing is, I do believe the sun will come up tomorrow, and we'll carry on doing what we're doing, which is fight the good fight and try and stand up and be counted and your voice heard. And when people criticise you for doing so, just go, okay, well that's your right to free speech, but I'm going to carry on exercising mine too.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And no, it's true. We just have to, I kind of have the same mentality. You sometimes do get that feeling of being down or negative, or you get, angry of something that you see that was said. But in the end, we all have to, I think, just keep striving for that good and doing what we need to do and keep pushing and keep supporting everybody. And I think that in the end, like you said, the sun's going to keep coming out and we'll get to where we need to be. Cause yeah, of course, it's not the end of the world. We like to, everybody needs a laugh now and then, so everybody makes their little jokes. But I think that people are very, even though they're divided and they some seem very angry, they do see a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere. So
Yeah.
let's hope that we're all right in that sentiment. To close it out, are there any words of wisdom or advice you'd like to convey to those out there listening? Any words of encouragement?
Um, just don't suffer in silence. Find somebody. Everybody can find at least one person that they might be scared to talk to, but they know are a good person that will listen. And that I think is paramount. That's so fundamental because to suffer and to feel tortured on your own and it kind of prison of your own mind, things can multiply. Whereas if you can talk it out with somebody, just take the risk that they'll be the person that you need to listen and talk because that's the beginning of solving the problem. Getting somebody else get involved and say, please help me get through this. And it does help. It really does.
Awesome. Yes, no, it does. Talking and communicating with each other is a big part of it, and reaching out and asking for support. It's when they don't. I do believe that we all have to help ourselves because we're the ones that actually do the work, but you need that
Yeah,
support system, and it's very important to have. So
absolutely.
you're correctly right on that. Sean, thank you so much again for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. We thank you for your
My
support.
pleasure.
Thank you for being an advocate for Bullies Keep Out and working with us and helping us. We appreciate it. And
My pleasure, Dana. I was just going to say, please keep up the good work.
oh, we will. Trust me, we're not stopping anytime soon. And with the great people that we work with, such as yourself, we just have an ongoing. Our support is through the roof, and we just have amazing things happening that we'll keep everybody posted on. That we're very much looking forward to. So
Cool.
I hope everybody enjoyed this chat with Sean Maguire. Everybody be kind and love big.